Everyone in this world wants their partner to be very beautiful in appearance, but what about those who are not considered conventionally beautiful? Don't they have any luck? Don't they deserve someone who truly loves them? With all these questions spinning in her head like a washing machine on high speed, our lovely and cute female lead Mona is deeply troubled. She's a girl with a simple face, trapped in this cruel world where beauty is treated like a golden ticket to success. Due to her ordinary looks, people don't recognize her worth. They ignore her like she's part of the furniture, while beautiful faces are praised and showered with opportunities as if they've invented sliced bread. Because of this, poor Mona has started to believe she's unattractive compared to others. Her life feels like a punishment, not because of what she lacks, but because her perfectly average face doesn't meet the world's absurd standards. She doesn't get good jobs, nor does society acknowledge how intelligent and capable she is. She scrapes by with small jobs just to earn a living. And when it comes to love, Mona's condition is worse than the Wi-Fi at your grandma's house. No guy has ever thought of her as girlfriend material, and that's the main reason she often feels lonely and invisible. Now our hero, Se-gun, the most handsome boy in college. He's the kind of guy who probably wakes up with perfect hair and a background music score. Extremely popular among the girls, everyone wants to impress him. Se-gun is a fashionista and a designer, and he's very good at his work, but his thinking is like most other boys. He's drawn toward beauty like a mosquito to a tube light. He judges girls by their looks and nothing else. Se-gun has dated many girls, even those who weren't very pretty, but dumped them like expired milk because he's in search of his perfect girl. For him, beauty is everything, while Mona sees Se-gun from a distance and dreams of becoming his perfect girl. One night, a big event is held in college, and during that time, Mona ends up in trouble. She's alone and scared, and just when she's about to panic, Se-gun shows up to help her. Mona is stunned. She feels her heart doing cartwheels. He's already crazy about him and now thinks he came just for her, like a knight in shining gelled hair. But soon, her illusion is shattered when she finds out he actually came to impress some other beautiful girl. Her heart breaks like a dropped phone with no cover. She starts believing that there's no place in this world for girls like her, and beauty is everything. The next day, Mona goes to her sketching class, where Se-gun is present again, this time as a model. He tells Mona, "Better make my sketch perfect, or else the result won't be good for you." So Se-gun removes his shirt and sits like a Greek god, and all the girls in class fall head over heels. Some might have even failed biology at that moment. But Mona, despite her feelings, sketches him so well that he gets impressed and starts praising her. She feels good hearing the praise, but also gets angry, thinking why people only focus on looks when she has a brain sharp enough to slice onions without crying. She becomes sad, and when she returns home, she vents her frustration at her mother. She says, "Mom, why are you so intelligent? Because of you, I too have to live under this curse of brains. You married a handsome man, but what about me? Have you ever thought about my future?" Her mom gets a little emotional too. She tries to console Mona, but Mona, full of teenage melodrama, storms off to meet her friends. Ben was her closest friend who supported her in everything, and Kang-mi, her other friend, had recently gone abroad for studies. Their friendship meant a lot to Mona. But the biggest twist comes when Mona returns home and her mother, understanding her pain, gives her a magical ring, like straight out of a Disney meets Hollywood crossover. She tells her to wear it in front of someone she likes, and he'll see her as his dream girl. The ring could change her life. Mona can't believe what she's hearing, but her mom insists it's real. She says her grandmother, great-grandmother, and even she herself found their dream partners using that ring. At first, Mona thinks it's a joke, but then she decides to try it. She calls Se-gun and says she wants to introduce him to a beautiful girl. Se-gun, excited like a kid promised free pizza, rushes to meet her. As soon as Mona wears the ring and appears, her face transforms into Se-gun's dream girl. Se-gun is stunned. He thinks she's the same girl he saw 6 months ago in Paris and never forgot. The next day in class, he sees Mona again and asks her to model for his project. Mona hesitates, but then boldly refuses. Se-gun is shocked. How could any girl reject him? Feeling challenged, he gets her number from her friend and calls her, asking her to meet him. Mona, whose bus was stuck at the stop with no other coming for an hour, straight up refuses. Se-gun is left speechless for the first time. A girl has rejected him. He takes it as a challenge and meets her again the next day. His friends are stunned to see the most handsome boy in college going crazy for a simple girl. But little did they know it was all because of that magical ring. Segun takes Mona shopping, buying her favorite dresses. All he could think about was that dream girl image Mona had worn, like a filter. The next day, he even visits her house. Mona is surprised, but Segun is thrilled to meet her dad, who also ends up liking him. He thinks, my daughter's boyfriend is so smart and attractive. But our poor hero had no idea that he was just in love with a ring-powered illusion. The good thing for Mona here was that she kept wearing the same ring all the time, so that her reality that she is the next-door girl stayed hidden. Segun was getting more and more attracted to her. Then one day he asked Mona why she hadn't been coming to school for so many days. Mona, caught off guard, asked why he was even asking, and then it hit her, like a plot twist in a daily soap, that she had forgotten to wear that magical ring. That's why Segun was seeing her in her true form, the unfiltered version. So here she made up a ridiculous excuse that she was unwell and slightly busy and couldn't come to school. In response, he asked what she was doing at her girlfriend's house, and quickly covered up by saying that she was just a good friend and had only come to visit, just so Segun wouldn't get suspicious. Segun, with all his romantic logic, thought that if Mona was such a close friend of his dream girl, then getting to know her would help him understand his girlfriend even better. He then asked for her number, which totally freaked Mona out. So much so that in panic mode, she gave him her mom's number instead. And if her mom had picked up and flirted back, this story would have turned into a whole new genre. The next day in class, Segun announced that this girl, Mona, would be the model for his project, which shocked the whole class. Everyone was whispering why he picked Mona out of all people, but no one knew the truth, that Segun saw her as his dream girl. Seeing everyone's reaction, Mona felt pretty bad and rejected his proposal, saying she wouldn't be his model. But the biggest twist was yet to come. Just as Mona was walking away, her eyes landed on her friend Kong Mi, who had just returned from studying abroad. Kong Mi asked her for a red diary and said it had something very precious in it. Seeing Kong Mi made Mona super happy, and she told her that the diary was safe and she'd return it soon. But a flashback revealed that the girl Segun had met in Paris 6 months ago was none other than Kong Mi, and they had fallen in love at first sight. Kong Mi had even written Segun's number in that same red diary, the one Mona now had. In the next scene, Segun called Mona to meet him again, but this time, she was in her real form, no ring, no filter. Segun told her he was going on a date with his dream girl Mona, and wanted to get to know her better, but plot twist, he didn't even know the real Mona's name. He just thought the dream girl who always hung around was named Mona. Well, she was technically still his girlfriend's bestie in his head, so he disliked the real Mona, but still went with her to watch a movie. On the way back, Segun felt like eating apples and stopped at an apple store, where he started buying shiny-looking apples. But Mona stopped him and picked out some weird-looking ones instead. Segun was confused, but when he tasted them, he was shocked that they were tastier than the polished ones. He asked how she knew, to which Mona replies that not everything that looks bad is bad. Sometimes it's better than the so-called perfect ones. She then told him that this was their last meeting and they'd never meet again. Segun, a little stunned, agreed, still unaware that Mona would show up again as his dream girl. But then came the emotional moment. Mona returned Kong Mi's red diary. Kong Mi immediately called Segun, but he thought it was a spam call and cut it. Next day, Segun took dream girl Mona, the ring version, on a date. They went cycling, spent time together, and then, suddenly, Segun slipped and got injured. But being the classic male hero, he pretended like nothing happened, even though he was probably dying inside. Many girls still tried to be friends with Segun, but his attention was only on his mysterious heroine. Every time he came near Mona, people wondered how such a plain girl had bagged such a handsome guy. The distance between them kept shrinking, and Mona started teasing him because when life gives you a magical ring, you flirt like a queen. Segun began dropping her home and gave her things, making Mona blush like a tomato in summer. Then, when he met her again, he asked her to be his model once more. This time, though hesitant, she said yes. Segun took full advantage and kissed her. Her heartbeat went into DJ mode, but before she could even say anything, Segun got a message from an unknown number saying they had met in Paris and asking if they could meet again. Segun was shocked and started wondering who the Paris girl was if Mona was with him now. Mona got scared that her secret was about to be exposed, so in classic distraction mode, she kissed him again. Then she got an emergency call from Kangmi. Kangmi had drunk too much and needed help. Mona ran to her, and while returning, it started raining heavily. She was stuck without an umbrella and called Segun for help. He didn't hesitate for a second and came running. He looked so good that Mona couldn't stop staring. She started thinking that maybe, just maybe, she had finally found someone who truly cared. Segun kissed her again and took a selfie of them. Mona panicked, thinking her truth might be exposed, but Segun, being completely whipped, uploaded the photo on social media with a caption that basically declared they were in a relationship. All his fangirls were heartbroken and went into emergency group therapy, wondering how their Greek god fell for such a plain girl. Meanwhile, Mona's friend Ben, who had secretly loved her for years but never confessed, was also crushed. When Mona found out, she was shocked and shy at the same time. Segun then held her hand and took her to college in front of everyone. Girls were fuming with jealousy. Afterward, he took her dress shopping, but not for her mom. Segun got emotional and started pouring his heart out to Mona. He says that his mother used to live in America and is finally coming to meet him after 7 long years. The poor guy is so nervous, it's like he's preparing for a job interview instead of a family reunion. So he starts practicing how to meet her, with Mona playing supporting cast. Like, in the flashback, we see that Segun's mother is not just beautiful, she looks like she stepped out of a Kdrama, with flawless skin, and she absolutely adores her son. This bonding between mother and son is shown blooming stronger with every memory. Well, the next day, when Kangmi comes to meet her dear friend Mona, she unexpectedly spots Segun and gets that expression like she just saw her favorite Netflix character in real life. She leaves from there in shock, but she's not the only one shaken. Segun sees Ben and suddenly starts feeling jealous, like, who's this guy stealing my side character's spotlight? Mona then asks Segun the golden question, when did he start liking her? And Segun says that he loves Mona deeply and will always stay with her because she's his gem girl. Mona is being adorably silly here and everyone around starts laughing, but Segun's gaze is locked on her like she's Mona Lisa, and he's the only one who understands the painting. Mona, on a secret mission to uncover the mystery girl in Segun's heart, asks him to sketch his dream girl, and the sketch looks exactly like Kangmi, her bestie, who once told her about a dreamy Paris encounter with a handsome boy. Mona is shaken, stirred, and almost ready to fall because now she knows the truth. She decides these two must never meet or the whole magical ring secret will be exposed. Right then, Mona gets a call from Segun saying he's waiting in college. She panics because Kang was right in front of Segun, and just as he and Kangmi are about to lock eyes, she drags Segun near the swimming pool. There, she plays psychologist and asks him whether he likes her just because she's beautiful. Segun says obviously he's handsome, so of course she agreed to date him, right? Mona is fuming and about to storm off when Segun holds her hand, her ring slips off, and both of them fall into the pool. Mona panics, thinking Segun might see her real face, so she vanishes. Segun is confused, wet, and looking around, but he can't find Mona. Ben runs into him and offers to help find Mona. When he does, Mona confides in him and says she can't face Segun yet, and asks Ben to lie for her. Ben, being the loyal potato he is, agrees. He informs Segun that Mona is fine but has left. Later, Mona reveals the whole magical ring truth to Ben and confesses that Segun's ideal girl is Kangmi, which makes her heart crumble like a cookie under pressure. The ring is lost in the pool, and until she finds it, she can't reveal her truth to Segun. The next day, Segun sees Kangmi and follows her, shocked. Meanwhile, Mona rushes in and quickly pulls Kangmi aside. She begs Kangmi not to reveal anything, for now, because she no longer has the ring and can't pretend to be the gem girl. Kangmi agrees but warns her if she falls for Segun, the truth must come out. Deal made, Kangmi and Segun leave together. Mona watches, heartbroken, because now things are out of her control. Ben is still hunting for the ring. Poor guy even talks to the pool owner for clues. Finally, Ben finds the ring, and he couldn't decide whether he should give this ring to Mona or not, but suddenly he realized something and put the ring on his friend's finger. And seeing Mona in him, which confirms his confusion that his dream girl is actually Mona, he rushes to her, gives the ring, and Mona nearly does a cartwheel out of happiness. The next day, she decides to meet Segun for one final date. She looks drop-dead gorgeous, and Segun, still distracted by Kangmi, can't take his eyes off her. They go cycling, have a drink, and Mona is quiet, unsure how to break his heart. But despite her guilt, she can't bring herself to tell the truth. Se-gun takes her shopping and asks her to try on a dress. Suddenly, Kang-mi appears wearing the exact same dress. Plot twist strikes again. Se-gun is confused like he just walked into an episode of Black Mirror. Kang-mi then forcefully removes the ring from Mona's finger and reveals everything. The ring, the truth, the whole soap opera. Se-gun is shocked. She follows him and apologizes, tries to explain, but he feels betrayed beyond words. Mona holds his hand, apologizes sincerely, and explains that she had no wrong intentions. Then, turning to Se-gun, she tells him to try putting the ring on her finger. But the moment Se-gun slips the ring onto her hand, he suddenly starts seeing Kang-mi's face instead of Mona's. Shocked and angry, he yells at Mona. She begs him to forgive her, but Se-gun Evien, heartbroken and furious, walks away without looking back. The next day, he goes straight to Kang-mi and asks her to be his model, but Kang-mi was playing hard to get. As Se-gun walks away from there, his eyes fall on Mona again. As soon as Se-gun's eyes land on Mona, she sees her, laughing and chatting with someone else. Jealousy starts bubbling inside him like soda in a shaken bottle. Se-gun walks up, confused by his own emotions, and thinks, maybe Mona is wearing that same magical ring again, and now fooling another poor boy, trapping him in her nonsense. But as soon as he gets close and checks her hand, he realizes Mona isn't wearing the ring. That's when he hugs her impulsively. Mona thinks Se-gun has returned for her, but Se-gun just coldly says he came to check if he still has any feelings left. Se-gun claims he doesn't like Mona anymore and he's moved on. Mona is surprised and quietly heartbroken. Heartbroken Mona is now fully focused on her work and requested her friend Ben to become a model for her project. Ben finally agrees, and suddenly they come face to face with Se-gun and Kang-mi. Ben Sen-mi saw that Se-gun was jealous she even agreed to be Se-gun's model, but now a competition is about to begin. As Mona is taking Ben's measurements, Se-gun barges in and instantly turns green with jealousy. He can't bear seeing them together. After this awkward situation, Ben takes Mona away to eat, leaving Kang-mi and Se-gun behind. Then, in a rush of confused emotions, Se-gun tries to kiss Kang-mi to prove his feelings, but fails miserably because what he once felt with Mona is just not there. Kang-mi seems equally unsure, but then, in a twist, Kang-mi kisses him first, and Se-gun is stunned, not because of the kiss, but because he feels absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Ben finally confesses his love to Mona. She is silent, thoughtful, because she always considered him just a friend. Ben handles the rejection like a pro and tells her to take her time, answer after the competition. Meanwhile, our handsome Se-gun is having an identity crisis. He's confused whether he loves Mona or Kang-mi. And just then, his mom messages that she can't attend his competition because she's got some urgent work. This hits him like a truckload of disappointment. He had waited 7 years to see her. He shares his sorrow with Kang-mi, and instead of sympathy, Kang-mi scolds him. Are you a child? Tia thought I'd marry a strong man, not one I have to babysit. Se-gun doesn't like this at all. Later, as he's staring at his mom's photo, Mona shows up in a funny costume, saying he doesn't like her real look, so she came as someone else. She comforts Se-gun, who tells her how hurt he is. Mona says maybe his mom had some genuine reason and assures him gently. Se-gun feels a little comfort and he has left Mona alone. She cried so hard after he left because she loves Se-gun, but he doesn't feel the same. The competition day arrives. Kang-mi looks stunning but faints on stage from nervousness. She's taken to the hospital. Beijing asks Se-gun to take his place and walk the ramp with Mona instead. He warns, don't even think of losing, she's worked hard. Go win it for her. Se-gun prepares, and during rehearsals, he and Mona come very close again. When he finally enters the stage, people just stare. He's looking dashing, like he walks straight out of a shampoo ad. In the next round, he asks Mona to be his model. She hesitates, saying she's ugly and will ruin his chances. Se-gun, now full Romeo mode, says, "Who said you're not beautiful? From my eyes, you're the most beautiful. This dress was made for you because you are always on my mind." Mona agrees, and she nervously walks the stage. Looking at her, the crowd starts mocking, like she's an alien at a beauty pageant. She falters, but then Se-gun gives her a reassuring look. That one look injects pure confidence into her. She walks again, and this time the judges love her vibe. And the winner is announced. It's Segun and Mona. They're overjoyed. Segun tells Mona, "See, you never gave up and you're not ugly at all." He's changed, finally seeing Mona's inner beauty. Later, Ben asks Mona for her answer. She softly says she sees him only as a friend. Ben is sad but mature, saying they'll stay good friends. And they do. A few days later, Segun and Mona visit her home. Segun expresses his love and proposes with a beautiful ring, saying she no longer needs that magical one because now she is his magic. Mona has tears in her eyes. Time passes. The bond between Segun, Mona, and Ben becomes stronger, full of fun and support. One day, Segun jokingly said that he wants to throw the old magical ring away, but Mona stops him, asking if he'd like to wear it once and see who his true love is. He makes Mona wear it, and at that moment her eyes sparkle. Segun can't stop smiling, realizing she has always been the one. He kisses her, and that kiss seals our beautiful drama with a perfect happy ending.